Let me call this meeting,
I'll tell you later.
the State of New York Mortgage Agency Mortgage Insurance Committee meeting to order. Yes,
Do you have the right,
we're 8 a.m.?
we're 8 a.m. Do you have the mic?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
good. I'd like to note that Todd Sherman is representing Robert Mujica, Director of the Division of the Budget, is participating in the meeting via video conference from the New York State Division of the Budget Conference Center in the Capitol Building, room 131 in Albany, and request a motion and a second to call to order the April 13, 2017 meeting of the Sonyma Mortgage Insurance Committee. The motion and second recorded will be used for all action items before the committee unless specific items call for a different vote or unless any committee member wishes to record his or her vote differently. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
And second?
Second?
Thank you. The minutes of the meeting of the Mortgage Insurance Committee held on March 9th, 2017 shall be deemed approved absent corrections from the directors.
Okay, the meeting will move to the Mortgage Insurance Committee program action items. Item number 2, resolution recommending approval of 100% mortgage insurance on an $8,550,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for 501 to 09 Catherine Street, Syracuse, Onondaga County.
Good morning. This project comprises development of 50 all low-income units, of which 30 will be reserved for clients of the New York State Office of Mental Health. And OMH will pay 100% of the debt service on the project in the approximate amount of $600,000 per annum. And OMH pays the debt service to HFA semi-annually in advance. The project is being developed by a not-for-profit entity, Central New York Services, which is an experienced provider of mental health services. The insured loan amount is $171,000 per unit, which equals approximately 50% of the project's total development cost of $337,000 per unit.
Questions?
And the resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for 501 to 509 Catherine Street, Syracuse, Onondaga County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 3, resolution approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $6,710,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan via V's, 1828, I guess, V's?
Via
Avenue.
Vice, I think.
Vice? Try Vice Avenue, Bronx County.
This project comprises the development of 121 all low-income units, of which 61 will be supportive housing units for clients of the New York State Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. And OTDA will pay approximately $462,000 per annum in rent subsidies, but they will not pay debt service. In addition to the insured first mortgage, there's $20,600,000 Housing Trust Fund Supportive Housing Opportunity Program loan and $17 million in federal low-income housing tax credits. The project is being developed by Martin Dunn, who's an experienced and well-regarded developer of affordable housing and a repeat HFA and Sonyma borrower. And the services will be provided by CAMBA, likewise a well-regarded provider of supportive housing services and a repeat HFA and Sonyma, both borrower and service provider. The insured loan amount is only $53,000 per unit, which equals 14% of the project's total development cost of $384,000 a unit.
Questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is approving mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for Via Vice 1828 Vice Avenue, Bronx, Bronx County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 4, resolution recommending approval of $3,850,000 increase in the commitment to provide 100% mortgage from $13,400,000 to $17,250,000 on an HFA permanent first mortgage loan for Moxie A. Rigby Apartments, 195 East Merrick Road, Freeport, Nassau County.
This project comprises development of a 101 unit low-income project, which will replace an existing low-income project in Freeport that was damaged by Hurricane Sandy. The original sources and uses for the project, the sources included a $5,139,000 grant from FEMA, which FEMA has been slow in approving, which may delay start of construction for the project. So HFA has asked us to approve a $3,850,000 increase in the insured loan amount. There will also be an increase in the homes for working family loan and an increase in the deferred developer fee. And HUD has agreed to increase the Section 8 rents to cover the additional debt service.
When was this in front of us for approval before? 'Cause
Yes, back in January.
I was going to say, it was
Yes.
recently.
Yes.
That escalated in a hurry.
Yeah.
All right.
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of modifications to mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for Moxie A. Rigby Apartments, 195 East Merrick Road, Freeport, Nassau County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 5, resolution recommending approval of 100% mortgage insurance on a $14,016,274 CPC permanent first mortgage loan to St. Mark's Apartments, 839 St. Mark's Avenue, Brooklyn, Kings County.
This project comprises the development of 70 low-income units, of which 42 will be reserved for clients of the New York State Office of Mental Health. And OMH will contract to provide approximately 85% of the annual debt service in the amount of $792,000 per annum, which is sufficient to service the debt on about $12 million of the total $14 million in debt. And there will be a project-based Section 8 HAP contract for the 42 OMH units. The project is being developed by a not-for-profit controlled by the Institute for Community Living, which is an experienced developer of supportive housing nationwide. The insured loan amount is $220,000 per unit, which equals only 40% of the project's total development cost of $499,000 per unit. So this is a rather expensive project, which I think explains OMH paying for 85% of the debt service. And the project would break even with a 25% increase in operating expenses or a 21% vacancy rate.
Questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for St. Mark's Apartments, 839 St. Mark's Avenue, Brooklyn, Kings County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 6, resolution recommending approval of 100% mortgage insurance on a $7,640,000 CPC permanent first mortgage loan for 569 to 575 Prospect Avenue, Bronx, Bronx County.
This project, this is an HPD PLB project. In addition to the insured first mortgage, there's a $5.6 million HPD subsidy loan. And the project comprises the development of 45 moderate income units. It's not a low income project. There are no tax credits. 16 of the units will be reserved for tenants with incomes up to 70% of the AMI, and 28 units will be reserved for tenants with incomes up to 90% of the AMI. The insured loan amount is $171,000 per unit, which equals about 49% of the project's total development cost of $344,000 per unit. The project would break even with a pro forma 20% vacancy rate or a 38% increase in operating expenses. And there's a Title 11 real estate tax abatement, 40-year Article 11 real estate tax exemption.
Questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for 569 to 575 Prospect Avenue, Bronx County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 The motion is carried.
Item 7, resolution recommending approval of 100% mortgage insurance on a $12 million CPC permanent first mortgage loan for 760 Broadway, Albany, Albany County.
This project comprises construction of 100 units of workforce housing. There is no regulatory agreement, but the unit rents are projected to be affordable between 70 and 95% of the AMI, and there's a 20-year pilot agreement with the City of Albany. The developers, David and Harris Saraf, are experienced New York City-based developers who develop in both New York City and in Albany. The insured loan amount is $120,000 per unit, which equals 68% of the project's total development cost of $176,000 per unit. And there's $5.6 million in developer equity in the project, equal to about a third of the development cost. And the project is projected to break even with a 19% vacancy rate or a 46% increase in operating expenses.
Questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for 760 Broadway, Albany, Albany County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
The motion is carried.
Item 8, resolution recommending approval of 100% mortgage insurance on an $8,500,000 CPC permanent first mortgage loan for Crescent Commons, 165 to 177 Main Street, Cortland, County.
This project comprises the historic readaptation of a vacant former factory on Main Street in Cortland into 47 workforce housing units and 39,000 square feet of commercial space. There's a $1 million Regional Economic Development Council grant, a $300,000 City of Cortland loan, and a pilot agreement with the Cortland IDA evidencing strong local support for the project. It's being developed jointly by Housing Visions Consultants, which is a local not-for-profit, and by Yaman Crescent LLC, which is controlled by a local developer, an experienced local developer named David Yaman. The project comports with the state's goal of Main Street revitalization. The insured loan amount is $181,000 per unit, which equals 50% of the project's total development cost of $364,000 per unit. But these numbers are inflated because of the very large amount of commercial space in the project. And because commercial income represents 44% of the project's total income, the MIF is going to require a minimum income to expense ratio of 1.110 rather than 1.05. And the project is projected to break even with a 25% vacancy rate for the residential units or a 35% vacancy rate for the commercial space, or a 54% increase in operating expenses.
Questions?
The resolution before the Mortgage Insurance Committee is recommending approval of mortgage insurance and a commitment for the provision thereof for 165 to 177 Main Street, Cortland, County. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
And the motion is carried.
9, information then?
Yes, the mortgage recording tax in March was $11.5 million, and it hasn't been that low since May of 14. So this is sometimes an early indicator of economic activity, so it's something that bears watching,
Lack of it.
or lack of economic activity. And as a result, the excess balance in the special account as of March 31st will be about $53.5 million. The estimate had been 55 million. But due to the low mortgage reporting tax, I think it'll actually be about 53.5 million.
Here's watching.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, being no further business, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The
Aye.
motion is carried, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.